Well, good morning. Yeah, 3:33, not 4:44 or 5:55. I've been awake for too long already, considering I didn't go to bed, turn out the lights till 10:15 p.m. and woke up a few hours later as usual. Anyway, title for today: Voice of the People. Trust and verify. We live in a world of deception and delusion. Those like me who want to live in truth are tested in many ways. We draw people to ourselves to test our commitment, our integrity. I've wanted so much to change the world for the better that I drew RuSA to myself in 2011, then OPPT and SwissIndo in 2013, and finally the Dragon family in 2014. I trusted Tim Turner, Heather Tucci-Jaraf, Mr. Sugih, the ambassador and the Red Dragon. I believed in the promises of each, and still do based on principles. With the ambassador, more than anyone else in my life, I developed a bond like a brother. But by 2014, I had learned something about trust that I also needed to verify. As I said in my last video, reimbursement for my passport was the litmus test, my verification process. It failed within the time I allotted. I'm not sure how it will play out at this point, whether or not I ever become the voice of the dragons. I feel I am a voice of the people. I hope the Dragon family is listening. Actually, I hope the whole world is listening. I hope heaven is listening. Especially heaven. Especially our angelic or extraterrestrial brethren. Especially those that have the power to do something. I believed, because I was told, that the Dragon family controls most of the wealth of the world, most of the gold, that they are the trustee owners. But again, I was also told that the money belongs to the people. The wealth belongs to the people. That is true. That is a principle that ran through RuSA, OPPT, SwissIndo, and what I was told about the Dragon family, that they realize that this is the people's inheritance. If it's our inheritance, why is it so hard for these people to keep their word? None of them yet have even shown any good faith in keeping their word. It's not about giving us millions. It's about the little things. If someone is not faithful in little things, how can they be trusted with much? And yet, what's the choice? What choice do we have? There are many that are working on new systems of finance, new systems of energy, new systems of healing. They are not being funded. They are not available on a global level. Why? Why? Rich people have been involved in every one of these endeavors, promising financial backing that never came. I don't blame Tim Turner. I believe he was lied to, probably by people within the US government at high levels, probably by people with perhaps military identification, generals or admirals or something. And he believed their lies because he wanted to believe that there are people with a lot of money that want to do the right thing. OPPT came along and Heather laid waste to the corrupt government and corporate system by legal documents that have never been disproven or rebutted. They are real. She foreclosed, using their own laws, she foreclosed on the criminal corporations involved in human slave trade, involved in extortion of the people's wealth, of the people's value. Again, there were promises that it was backed by some powerful people, even Rothschilds. Obviously, they lied again. Just like Tim Turner, Heather did not have the ability to deliver. She based her value system on what is real. We are all millionaires. We are all billionaires. We are all trillionaires. In other words, we have unlimited potential because the wealth is generated by our value, by our efforts, by our creativity, by our labor, our service to others. Yeah, that's what generates value. That's what makes the world go round. Not money, but people. People's efforts. People's creativity. And then SwissIndo. I never met Mr. Sugih. Did a couple of interviews with him. Heard many wonderful things about him, that he has a heart of a servant. I liked that. I liked that about him. But he invited us to go to Indonesia, all expenses paid, even spending money of $6,000 per delegate. We were going to go there, and we were going to begin to set up the network of a new system for the world. We were supposed to go in September last year. Never happened. We were supposed to go later in the same year. Never happened. Finally, Super Semar was in March. We were asked to provide our own way. No $6,000, not even a purchase of our airfare. And I don't know if any of the hotel rooms were paid for or not. I don't know. But I do know that the last time I checked, which was a few months ago, quite honestly, they still had not been reimbursed for their trip, even though they were promised reimbursement. Obviously, Mr. Sugih does not have the ability to deliver on his promises. Is he lying? Well, he may be deceived like the others were deceived, to believing that as a keeper of one of the storehouses of wealth in Indonesia, that he had the ability to use that money, which the Dragon family informed me he does not. When he issued vouchers to the IRS, that raised the alarm bells for me. He's dealing with people that are not honorable. The IRS is never honorable. It's a criminal institution from its beginning. So is the Federal Reserve, so is the IMF, so is the World Bank. They're all criminal organizations. Anytime you're dealing with a whole lot of money, you're dealing with criminal organizations because they don't keep their word, because they deceive the people, because they break promises, because they are out of integrity, because they want to hold on to their wealth. The ambassador came along and did something that none of the others ever did. There was a personal relationship. There was consistent, day after day communication. I resonated tremendously with many of the things the ambassador told me. He shared intimate details of his life with me, his family and his history and some of the mistakes that he's made. He was as upfront about some of his sins and mistakes as I have been. Obviously, I resonate with such a thing because I don't believe that we're ever going to become whole by any process of denial or elimination. I've said that numerous times. Numerous times. He seemed like a man of integrity. I believe deep in my heart that he really is. Something is missing, though. Something doesn't make sense. When people that claim to have so much wealth cannot pay a bill of, how much is it? I just sent a reminder to the ambassador here this morning. The bill is actually, here, come on, $576.31. I sent it over a month ago. They can't pay a bill that's less than $600 for promised reimbursement of actual out-of-pocket expenses where I have the receipts. And I didn't even charge for my time or for gasoline, for all the running around that I did to get everything that I needed to get, and it was not easy. I was hoping this morning when I got up that I'd have a message from PayPal. Dragon family sent you $576.31. Transaction ID 555-OVER 666 now, NOW. I made that up, of course, that transaction ID. And I sent it to the ambassador. That's what I sent to the ambassador this morning when I got up. Or actually, I had already been up for over an hour at that time. In any case, there was no receipt. And he did send me a message. He says, I don't think the Dragon family uses PayPal, and not even me. But please send your bank info for international wire or is Western better for you? So they're going to pay. They're going to pay me. But here's what happened. In the dialogue we had yesterday, and again, I didn't talk to him yesterday. We sent emails back and forth. He doesn't like that. He'd rather talk on the phone. His English in writing is not very good. It's not his first language. That's not a put down. It's just a reality. In any case, trust has been challenged. I'm wondering, can I trust these people? They're wondering, can they trust me? Well, if what they want is someone that's going to tell the truth, someone that's going to be vulnerable, of course they can trust me. But can they trust me to tell their side of the story if it doesn't resonate with me? No, they can't trust me there. They can't trust me to be a mouthpiece for them. I'm the voice of the people first, before I can be the voice of anybody else. And if the dragons line up with what they owe as an obligation to the people, that's what Mr. Sugih said. It's a human obligation. Those funds to be distributed to humanity, that's a human obligation. That's our wealth. That's our wealth. All of it came as a result of our labor, our creativity. No wealth has ever been generated any other way. Not any other way. It's ours. It belongs to the people. When are the elite going to get it? We're not going to shut up unless you kill us all. Is that your plan? To kill us all? But even then, we will keep coming back, reincarnating over and over again, until you stop your lying, until you stop your theft, until you stop your murder and your violence. Yes, I'm talking to you, you insane, psychopathic, sociopathic people that think you have the right to rule the world, that think you have the divine right of kings or of royal bloodlines. That's all bullshit. Nobody has the right to take anyone else's free will away from them or to do something against their free will. No one has the right to cause another harm, or as the ambassador says, to aggress on anyone else. No one has that right. No one. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account. It doesn't matter how many employees you have with guns to enforce your will on others. You are violating natural law. I'm sorry, that's the reality. And you may get away with killing me or killing others. You've gotten away with it in the past, of killing many people, of stealing from many people, of causing injury and harm and disease and all sorts of bad things to happen to real people so that you could keep your delusional fantasy of being able to rule the world. Well, I'm tired of it, and lots of other people are tired of it. And yes, we are waking up, Henry Kissinger. Yes, Rothschilds and Rockefellers, we are waking up. Yes, Obama, we are waking up. Yes, all you leaders of the world that claim to have leadership, titles, and some kind of authority, we are waking up. We're not going to let you put us in the boxes anymore. And it's time you start paying your bills, your human obligations. It's ours, it's not yours. Dragon family, it's ours, it's not yours. That's the truth. You may be entrusted with it, but you have your trust is you're going to have to stand before God, before Creator. What are you doing with the people's wealth now that the people know who it belongs to? It doesn't belong to you. You may be, on paper, the owners. But until you keep your word, until you start living in integrity, nothing you say means anything at all. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. It may not be the truth you want to hear, but it's the truth nevertheless. You owe the human race the release of funds to finance free energy systems, medical systems that have been suppressed, and all sorts of systems, financial systems that will allow people to get out of the rat race and to become fully human beings without the unnecessary stress and the tests and trials and suffering that has been our history from the beginning of time, as far as I know. It's time to change it. You said you saw the vision. You said you heard the call. It's time to start being faithful in the little things and the big things. We're asking you to repent. We're asking you, Dragon family, to consider what you've been telling us to do. You need to do it yourself. You need to put your money where your mouth is. And you need to start funding that which liberates humanity instead of enslaves us. Thank you for listening. Namaste.